Hey guys, it's Michael Griswold. Have you ever wondered how you could honestly be happy having sex with only one woman for the rest of your life? I know I have. And I recently made a realization that made a profound difference for me, and I thought it might do the same for you, so I thought I'd make a video for you. You know, I never thought this would be an issue for me, honestly, because a few years ago, I married a girl I was absolutely in love with. I proposed to her at the top of the Empire State Building. It was this fairy tale romance that lasted, before we even got together, lasted for years. And, you know, it was perfect. Unfortunately, on the day before our first anniversary, she died in a car accident. And I was the one driving, and that ended our fairy tale romance. And after that, I was kind of a mess for a while. I didn't really want to believe in the whole soulmate thing anymore, because that kind of would have left my life to be even more miserable. So I just started having sex with as many girls as I could, really. It was kind of like the only thing that made me not feel terrified. You know, after that accident and being the one driving, and you know, all of the guilt and the shame and the remorse, I was terrified of everybody and of everything. You know, everything was just a reminder of that. So the only thing that I could do was I drank a lot and have sex with a bunch of women. When I finally got through all that and like got my head straight again, I had this habit and this way of living that made it difficult for me to be committed to one woman, because I'd spent years just not really connecting with women, just using them, honestly, using them to get something. You know, it was like I didn't have any life in myself, so every woman that I met, I was just like sucking it from her. And you know, when I looked around, I kind of snapped out of it. The spell was broken, thankfully. And I looked around and I saw all these guys who were in relationships or married, but they were really miserable. They wished they could be with all these other women. And I thought, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go and I'm still going to have sex with a bunch of girls, because having sex with one woman just isn't right. And I even had this idea that, well, women love to be seduced and I love to seduce women, so it's a win-win. I know it sounds silly to say it out loud, but this is what really was going on in my head. I thought everybody wins here. But the thing is women don't like to feel like they're being used. And no matter what I said, no matter how clear I tried to make it, they always felt that way. And understandably, because sex is it's an intimate thing. And when a woman is vulnerable enough to have sex with you, and then you know, or with me, and then I didn't call her or treat her well afterwards, you know, I look like a jerk, and rightfully so. So then, as I started to start thinking in a way that was cool instead of not cool, I started realizing this, and there was this real conflict for me, because I thought, the way that I perceived it was guys, when they get married, have to like compromise their masculinity. You know, as a single guy, we love women, and we love chasing women and pursuing them. We love the pursuit and the hunt. And then once we become married or settled down, then we kind of become emasculated, and you don't have that part of you anymore. And it was a real challenge. I remember having conversations with a bunch of my friends, people who were married, who I have a lot of respect for, and saying, man, how do you do that? Like, how are you married to this girl and happy when you see this girl walking by and thinking you might be able to have sex with her? Here's what I realized. So again, as silly as this sounds, this is the way that I thought. And I wanted to be able to maintain my masculinity and be able to love a woman. And this is what I realized. I was like talking to this one girl, and it just came to me that women are meant to be enjoyed, not consumed. You see, I have this notion that men are protectors, that our role is to protect women. I did a very poor job of that, admittedly. I really wasn't interested in protecting them. I was really interested in getting whatever I could for me. And you know, that's not the way that I am going to live anymore. But we have this role to be a protector, and that means that, you know, we can enjoy women without having to do anything about it. So let me put this into like everyday terms. So you see a woman, and this is what I used to do. See a woman who's hot, and I would immediately feel threatened. And here's why. I think, she's hot, and this is a challenge for me. You know, if I don't do anything, then I'm not being a man. If I don't talk to her, then I'm being a wuss. And if I do talk to her and she doesn't sleep with me, then I'm not good at being a man. Again, these are the thoughts that went through my head. And so everything was just a challenge. There was no real depth. There was no concern for her. It was all me just stroking my ego. But when I realized that women could be enjoyed instead of consumed, then it gave me a new perspective, a new way to approach it that gave me another option. You see, before, when I just thought of women as being ready for consumption and a challenge, then that was the only response I could have. Does that make sense? I'd see a hot girl and I would either talk to her or, beat myself up for not talking to her. If I did talk to her and it went well, then I would feel this like ugliness afterwards if I slept with her. I mean, I had accomplished my goal, but there was this part of me that was like, dude, that's ugly. And if I didn't sleep with her, then I felt like I failed. It was this real weird, like, mind trip. But when I realized that women could be enjoyed without needing to be consumed, it allowed me to do this, to see a woman and recognize her for her beauty, which my masculinity responds to. In a energetic, like spiritual sense, I was able to appreciate who she is without having to do anything about it. And for me, this was a real source of power, actually. Because instead of being reactionary, right, seeing a girl and having to do something, now I have a choice. I can see a beautiful woman and have the composure to just appreciate her. Now, that doesn't mean that we do everything perfectly, and this isn't a moralistic thing. I'm not preaching to you. I'm not saying this is what you should do. This is just a tool that I just recently discovered that could allow you more power so that instead of feeling like, if you're in a relationship, instead of feeling like you're losing out, you're missing out because you're only having sex with one girl, and look at all these other girls you could have sex with. This is a different way to enjoy their beauty and their femininity without having to compromise your values, without having to look like a jerk, and without having to earn a poor reputation. Because those things are important. Your reputation and who you are as a man is important. So, anyway, hope that helps. Women can be enjoyed and not consumed. And instead of there being anything to do, like any action steps or practical applications, really this is just a way of seeing the world. It's a different lens that allows you another option of action. So if this is interesting to you, if this was beneficial, then head over to irresistibleconfidenceblueprint.com. There's a link underneath this video, and you'll get some more tips, and you'll hear the whole story of me and Libby and how that really led to me doing what I'm doing now. And you might find it helpful. So I'll see you over at irresistibleconfidenceblueprint.com. And remember, when you see a woman who's beautiful, who you may feel challenged in your masculinity, recognize that the way of poise, the way of strength, the way of courage is to not have to react to that outwardly, but instead to be able to enjoy it. Allow it to fill you with power instead of robbing you of power. Anyway, my name is Michael Griswold. I hope this has been helpful, and I'll talk to you soon.